Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Stories About Courage Live IG series. Very excited to be talking to Marc Schissler today, which is, before anything, a great friend. I cannot wait for you to meet him, and hopefully, everything runs smoothly. We are going to do a short test to see if Marc's desktop can connect to this live IG on my phone. If not, he is going to use his phone, so give us a few seconds, maybe a few minutes. Thank you for being so understanding. Hi, nice to have you here, Satman8585. Thank you for joining us. We are going to shortly start our talk about the law of attraction. I don't know about you, but this is a topic that really intrigues me. I have read about it, I have seen movies about it, posts, and it's a place that really gets me thinking, am I doing things right? Many questions have arrived in my mind since I got to talk with my wonderful guest today, Marc Schissler, that hopefully can join us very soon. And you'll have the chance, you as well, Sadman, if you want to ask him any questions about this amazing science, because it is a science at the end of the day, right? Having your answers on how this magical universe is working, what you need to do, what you need to avoid doing in order to achieve your greatest desires faster. Why not? I'm going to have this awesome law of attraction simplified episodes today just to give you a whole new perspective of what it means to be in control about everything that happens in your life. Hi, Mr. Walter. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're doing great. And let's see if we can have Marc join us. I'm not sure that Marc can join us from his desktop as far as I can see things looking on my desktop, because I have my laptop here with me just in case, just to check it. So I'm just going to ask Marc what is going on. If not, I'll be so happy to wait until Marc gets his phone and we are going to start our talk today. Let's see. In the meantime, if you have any questions, we have Marc here. Let's see, Marc, if it's working from your desktop. I doubt it, actually. I've been looking at some settings here, and on my side, it seems to be blocked, unfortunately. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on your phone. I've also tried to arrange some settings here. It's not working, but still they have made some progress with the desktop on Instagram as well, because you could not even post a photo from Instagram. So Christina, my dear Christina, great to have you with me. Great to have you with us. Marc is going to join me shortly talking about the law of attraction today. A topic that you may be wondering, why is Roxana talking about this? Well, many questions, Christina, about this awesome topic that Marc Schissler, my great friend from the US, is going to talk to us today about, because he has created a course, Law of Attraction and Manifestation. And this course, I have been privileged enough for 2 months to look through it. I have checked everything, all the exercises, all of the content. It has truly fascinated me. So I said, okay, Marc, we need to have people join this amazing course because it's something unique, really easy. Okay, Marc, I'm going to send you the invite to join me here. I cannot have another call because this is the live session. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, Marc, you should have that plus where you can click on it and it should give you the option to join my live session. Let's see if it works. If not, I'm going to send you the invite. Okay. I did send you the invite. You just need to, ah, I can see your screen,
There
Marc.
we go.
Yay! Yay, Marc, great to see you. How are you doing?
Good. Good to see you too. And it does not work from the desktop. So
Unfortunately, yeah. I've also did some settings on my side after I was live as well, just to see if it works. And unfortunately, but thank you for being so flexible. You are the best. You are literally the best. And it's a pleasure, such a privilege to have you here with me today. Tell me, how are things for you? How's it going?
things are going good. Busy. It's very hot. Is it probably the same in Romania? It's probably very hot. But yeah, no, things are going well. Very well.
Wonderful, great to hear this. It's indeed around 30 something degrees now, but we had 46 degrees at one point Celsius.
Yeah, that's extremely hot. Yeah, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I don't have the converter here, but we were at 100 yesterday. So
Oh, it's really hot for you as well.
yeah,
So yeah, well, it's summer. Let's enjoy it fully because I don't know, these summer days are just so beautiful that I feel like I'm not enjoying them as much as I should. So next month, Marc, I'll be traveling again.
oh boy, hopefully cooler.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to be in a place nearby with some forests.
Great.
Because we need time off, Marc. I see that we are too busy, right? I mean, summers are for relaxing. Next year, Marc, my life is going to look completely different.
And I think European summers are much different. Like France and Spain and some of these people, they close down for a whole month. I mean, we're lucky to get 1 week off here. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah, Spain is indeed the best holiday place ever, and even Greece. Greece is so touristical, but you know, we still have COVID here, so I'm
yeah.
not comfortable with flying with my baby girl yet, not yet. So, yeah. Marc, it is amazing having you with me today, having
Well,
you.
thanks for the invite. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
It is difficult not to be in your amazing energy. You have sent me your amazing law of attraction and manifestation course, which let me tell you, I have checked, read, reread, done the exercises completely, and it's indeed it's more than fascinating. The more you go into this topic, the more questions you have. However, at the same time, I feel this amazing paradox that it's just that simple. I believe, Marc, and please let me know if I'm wrong here after having read so much about the law of attraction. It is very simple when you just learn to fully let go and trust the higher source, the universe, God, call it as you want. Am I
Yeah,
right? What do you think?
call it as you want. Faith, not religion.
Love
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
So, would you say that we need to learn how to let go more than anything? This is my number one question before we actually dive deep into your amazing course.
Yes, I would think letting go is extremely important. And when we get into how I got involved in this, there was something that I saw that made me believe exactly that. And I think you boiled it down into those two words, just let go. Very simple.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been, Mark, a question that I have for a month, for a full month, so I really appreciate that. And Ruby also says she absolutely agrees. Ruby, great to have you here with us. If you have any questions for Mark, please do so. I'm going to gather up all the questions that you have for him. We have an agenda for today. This is going to be really fun, completely educational, because a few words about Mark before we start. Mark, I would like to introduce you as a very good friend. Before anything else, before your wonderful career, before your amazing profession, you have gotten to be such an awesome supporter of everyone around you that I have never met someone that is so inspiring and friendly and social at the same time, just giving your best to cheer on everyone's work. This is very rare, and I'm very happy to call you a friend. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you very much for that compliment. I appreciate it. And I take that very seriously. So thank you.
It's my pleasure, and it's such a privilege to be giving our audience what a chance. My fearless friends, how I call you. Before anything else, please have a pen and a piece of paper, because today is going to be epic. Now, I have some great questions for Mark, because he has created something very special, something particular that you don't find just anywhere. Mark has studied the law of attraction and manifestation, something that, in my opinion, would be a topic that we need to master, to say the least. It's how you literally make your dreams come true. It's how you create the best life that you can possibly create, willingly, unwillingly. There are many fine lines, many gray lines in between. It's neither black or white. You don't have that absolute truth. You need to be digging and you need to be testing things out. However, let us start, Mark, if you are all ready, with one of the best questions that I'm sure that our audience will appreciate. And this question is, what is the law of attraction? Let's go back to basics and start from the very beginning.
Yeah. So the basics are, boil it all down to something very simple. The energy that you put out to the world is exactly what you will attract back into your life. For example, if you're walking around in a bad mood, you're surly, you don't look people in the eye, you are in a constant state of woe is me, that's what you're going to attract back into your life. However, if you walk around and you're happy and you're smiling and you're engaging people and you're working towards whatever it is you're working towards, that's exactly what you're going to attract back. And it's that simple. Very simple principle. Energy attracts energy. Like attracts like. Negativity attracts negativity.
It makes so much sense. And it's like, you can even call it the law of reciprocity, maybe?
Yeah, law of reciprocity. And in fact, this was demonstrated many, many years ago. I didn't even know this. There's a book, there's a thing called The Secret. This has been on the Oprah show. Never heard of it. I never heard of it. And there's a lot of people who I've talked to who said, oh, that doesn't work. That's never going to happen. And again, you're throwing out that negativity, and that's what you're going to attract back. But you don't have to buy into that. So, yeah. At the very simple level, like attracts like, energy attracts energy, negativity will attract negativity, and you'll repel things that you really want if you're negative.
It's like you don't get to see them because of all the worries and the negative things that you put
Right.
upon
Not
yourself.
that you haven't had negative things in your life. We've all had negative things in our life, but it's a conscious choice to set your desires and to move forward towards them. And that's part of what this is all about, at least in my opinion. And this journey for me started probably in mid 2021. That's when I got started in it. And it was kind of by accident. I had a friend on LinkedIn. His name was Chip. Nobody knows this. You're the first one that I've told this to. I had a friend on LinkedIn. His name was Chip, and we had a typical, bro relationship. Hey, how you doing? The baseball game. Look who won the World Series. Blah blah blah. And we were always friends on LinkedIn. And one day, Chip sent me a link to a couple videos, and I was like, "Oh, Chip, I'm busy. Yeah, I'll watch them. I promise I'll watch them." And I never really got around to watching them. And then I kind of lost touch with Chip. Didn't know what happened. Sent him messages on LinkedIn. Never responded. Didn't know what to do. So we had a couple of friends in common. So I got in touch with one of them. And he said, you didn't hear about Chip? I said, no, I didn't hear about Chip. Chip went for a swim in a lake by his house, and he never came home.
No.
Yeah. So then I started, I felt really bad because I was like, wow, how would we have ever known? I would have never known had I not got in touch with this other friend. So I dug back through his messages and found the videos, found the links to the videos that he sent me. So one Saturday afternoon, I sat down and I'm like, you know what? Now's the time. Today's the day. I'm going to watch the video. And it's part of my course. It's the very first part of my course. It's chapter 1. This was Jim Carrey's commencement address to the Maharishi International University. And I watched that entire video and I was like totally taken. I did not know anything about Jim Carrey. We think of him as a comedian, but he had more to say about the law of attraction than I never knew. And if you watch that video, right around, I would say the 23rd minute, he basically says this, and which is the principle of the law of attraction. He says, letting the universe know what you want and working towards it while letting go of how it comes to pass. This was his advice to the audience. There must have been 1,000 graduates there. And this was his advice to them. Letting go of how it will come to pass. Your job is not to know how it's going to happen for you. Your job is to keep the door in your mind open. And when the door opens in real life, you walk through it.
Wow.
And I saw that video. That was near the end. It was like minute 23. The video is only like 24, 25 minutes. I saw that and I was like, well, gosh, now I know why Chip wanted me to watch this. And I was like, there's got to be a lot more to this. So, of course, once you get poked or prodded and you get that interest, you go further. And I was like, I got to find out more about this. This is really profound stuff. That's when I started doing the research and found all this stuff about the books and, talk to different people and they're like, oh, that doesn't work. That's just a pipe dream. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. So that's how I got started down this road in mid 2021.
Wow, this is a very emotional story, and it's wonderful that you got back to those messages. And as a good friend, you really wanted to pay this tribute by checking those videos, and you may have been attracted by the law of attraction, since I'm pretty sure it has changed your life. And Mark, before I ask you another awesome question, we have a great question from Ruby. Ruby says,
Okay.
when an
Hi, Ruby.
individual connects to their higher self spiritually, is it true that they are able to read people's aura? What do you think, Mark?
I think it's definitely possible. I know that it's definitely happened to me. It's happened a couple times, and I think that when you're around people who are positive and have a lot of energy, you can definitely sense it in their aura. And when you come across someone who's really, does not have the best intentions, and when you study the law of attraction, you can kind of read this, and you can go, you know what? It's not that it's not a safe environment, but this is not the best person for me. This is not someone who you'd want to be around. So I think, yes, we do all have an aura, and I think people can read it. And I think you've got to practice and get tuned into it. It's not, unless you're truly spiritually awakened and you are practicing a lot of meditation and yoga and things like that. If you are very practiced in it, you're going to be able to read people almost immediately.
And it's also a part of intuition, is it?
Yes,
Feeling.
it's very intuitive. Very intuitive.
And since you mentioned this, can you please share with us, Mark, what is your take on the gut feeling? Is it intuition or is it something else? What is your take on this?
I think gut feeling and intuition are like two cars running down the same freeway on the same in different lanes. Your gut feeling is that probably your first feeling you're going to trust, and your intuition will tell you whether you should move forward with a project, a contract, things like that. But your gut feeling is what happens first. Like when it hits you, it's like, that doesn't feel really good. And then when you find out the details, you're like, well, you know what? My intuition tells me that this could be trouble. And I've had it happen a couple times to me personally in the last year, in the last 6 months, like where you've got to get involved in a project and sign a contract, and you get that gut feeling, and you look at your intuition and you go, you know what? It doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. So yes, intuition is everything.
It is. And now I have a question that is burning me for a while since you mentioned this. Oh my God, this is going to be a bit longer because your answers and what you say is just very inspiring. That I would like to ask you, when we have the intuition, the gut feeling that something is not right for us, Mark, how do you think that we know that this is for sure not right for us, or could it be a fear involved that's just keeping us away from moving ahead, from change, from anything that makes us get out of our comfort zone? What do you think?
It could be. I'm sure fear definitely plays a role in it, especially if you're going to be doing something new and it's brand new and you're really uncertain, and you may confuse your intuition with fear. In a business sense, it's possible that it might not be. It might be just you've done business for 20 years and you've seen this before, and you're like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not afraid of it, but I can just feel that it's not right.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I think you can be fear related, definitely.
Thank you for saying this. So we need to maybe take a step back and be honest with ourselves. Okay, what is it really here? Is it something that's not aligned with me spiritually, emotionally, or do I maybe have a fear, something that's new, something that's maybe a limiting belief? Thank you for saying this. I appreciate this so much. Our friend Ruby is having some great comments here. Ruby says, yes, I'm able to read people when I look them in the eyes or when I shake hands with them. I can literally sense their energy. Wow, Ruby, you are pretty advanced in what it means seeing people's energy. This is amazing.
I know Ruby through Joyanne, so I know that Ruby is definitely onto it. I know that she is she's a more advanced she's more advanced in this than someone who's never heard of it before. So I would think that Ruby's probably practiced this, or it's a sixth sense. It's just something that's inherent in her spirituality, in her how she's evolved to this state that allows her to do that. And I will say that it's a blessing, and it can be a curse because you might, you might throw the baby out with the bathwater sometimes. Sometimes maybe it's just a feeling and you need to go a little bit deeper than to just say that aura is no good. And it's a blessing because sometimes it protects you.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing having a magnet for what's good for you and for what you should avoid. I'm going to be practicing this myself because in a way, Mark, I think we all have this inside of us, right? What do you think?
I think we do. Inherent, it's buried, and it just needs to be brought to the surface. And we're taught not to think about it. It's like don't use. It's got to be fun too. Um, it's got to be playful. It's got to be fun, and it's not. When you're in school, you're taught don't use your imagination. Don't be daydreaming. Pay attention. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Well, in this kind of a world, 1 plus 5 could equal 10. So you got to keep it playful, and you can't take it too serious, and you can't obsess over it. And that gets down the road a little bit in terms of manifestation and setting your dreams and goals and how to do that and how to not make that so obsessive that you actually repel what you want.
Wow. You said something, this is a gold nugget, Mark. Not to repel what you want if you make it that obsessive. I love it.
Yeah.
Should we ask for something that we want once? That's it. Let it go. Trust it. Trust that everything is going to work out, right? Not be doing it over and over again with the feeling of, oh, I did not get it yet. I'm frustrated.
I'll give you an example. Say, for example, you wanted a new bicycle and you set that as a manifestation. You say, I want this bicycle really bad, and I will be grateful when I receive it, and I'm looking forward to receiving it, and it's going to help me on my journey to health and whatever else your gratitudes are. And then what you need to do is let it go because you've already set the expectation. You've already told the universe what you want. Your manifestation is set, and you've got the gratitude in place, and then you let go and you say, I don't know how it's going to happen. I know it will happen. And basically what it is I'm going to let it go, and what's going to happen is going to happen. If you start, gosh, where's my bicycle? It's not here. It's tomorrow. I thought it would be here by now. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong with manifestation, in two ways they go wrong. Number one, they go really big. I want that $1 million house on the cliff overlooking the ocean, and they're not working towards it. They just think they're going to set it, and all of a sudden, magically, it's going to appear. The other thing they do is they obsess over it, and they say, well, why don't I have that house? Why isn't it here yet? Why isn't it here? They go too big, too fast. Why don't you try manifesting something small, like a parking spot, right? Like you're driving around and you're like, there's no place to park. I would be so grateful if I could find just a spot that's close by that I could park in. try manifesting something simple. Start small. You don't have to start big. And that's part of the whole process you have to go through, is you have to get used to how to do this.
It is indeed a work in progress. It takes a bit of time until you get
Yeah.
used to both the emotions, right, and the words that we use, because sometimes we may use negative words too often. We may say that we want something, but use wording that says, I don't want to have my car unparked. That's not going to help, right?
That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. And I'll give you an example of a real life manifestation. So my watch, the battery gave out on my watch. I went to get my watch repaired at the same place I've been going to for 10 years. I get over there, the storefront is empty, gone. Nobody's in the store. All that's there is carpet. I go next door, I say, what happened to Pham? We don't know. One day he was there, the next day we came to work and everything was gone. So I'm like, great. So I need a watch battery. So I kind of said to the universe, you know what? I need to find a new watch battery. I need to find a new watchmaker. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. I need it by Friday, if that would be possible. And I'll be grateful when that happens. And that was it. That's all I said, and I left. 3 days later, I walk into the restaurant, very close to my office here. Lady behind the counter says, how are you doing? I said, well, I'd be doing better if I could find a new watch battery. And she goes, oh, you need a watch battery. There's a new store that opened up like 100 steps from here. Joshua opened up a new watch repair place. Go over and talk to him. I was like, well, isn't that nice? Walk over.
Convenient, yeah.
Very convenient. Walked over, walk into the shop, and it was like walking into a Harry Potter movie. It was like you walked into a different world. And this guy says, I've been a watchmaker for 30 years. I worked for Gucci. I worked for Rolex. I worked for Patek Philippe. I worked for all the different watch manufacturers. And I was like, this is amazing. He goes, sit down. I want to tell you about what you walked into here. And I was like, oh boy, I really walked into something. And he goes, I not only do watch batteries, but if you bring me a watch and it needs a part, I don't send out for parts. I make the parts. You need a new mainspring? I make the new mainspring.
Wow.
I was like, this is incredible. I said, you're absolutely incredible. He said, you didn't realize it, but when you walk through that door, you're in my realm. And I think this is something that business people can use. When you have your expertise and somebody is maybe not quite so sure, you just tell them, look, I'm an expert. You're in my realm now, and I'm going to advise you what to do. So that was my story about manifesting a watch battery. That's not a $1 million house. That's a $10 watch battery. But when you get things like that and you get into situations, you have no clue what you've stepped into. So, very simple story.
Mark, you even manifested more than you had hoped to receive, which is just fantastic, wonderful.
You stepped into his realm, and I heard those words, and I was like, you know what? Forget the watch battery. I probably would have paid just to hear those words. And this guy is the most confident guy you've ever met in your whole life. So,
wow.
Easy story.
What a story, Mark. And the good thing is that you actually took some action to get there. As you said, it's not enough that you want that $1 million home. You need to be doing things that are also aligned with you, right? You need that your work to be given a very positive realm, since we were talking about realms, right? Because otherwise it may take longer or it's more difficult to manifest anything. What do you think? Should we have every single piece of the puzzle, every single piece of the road until we get to where we want to be aligned and congruent? Or how much should we maybe sacrifice? How much should we compromise?
That's a really, really good question. I think you have to have a lot of flexibility. And when I started the course, all I had was a yellow pad, right? And I wrote down all this stuff on a yellow pad. And it was very herky-jerky, it was very incongruent. And I was like, there has to be a better way. There's no roadmap. Well, where's the roadmap? And of course, you could spend a fortune buying books and talking to people. And it was just like, well, I'm going to write down what worked for me. And so I was flexible. I kind of, yeah, there's some big things I'd like to manifest, but there's also a lot of small things, And being flexible, you don't have to have it all planned out. That's half the fun. Half the fun is finding things out along the way. And I think that's a real important part of the process is people make it so serious. Like, I'll give you an example with your daughter. You take your daughter to the park, and there's a jungle gym with the bars where you hang on, right? And your daughter says, look, Mom, I'm on the trapeze. And in her mind, she's 100 feet up in the air, and she's swinging, right? And you're on the ground, and you're looking at her, and you're going, thank goodness she's only like 6 inches off the ground. Your perception and her perception are two totally different things, right? And I think one of the mistakes is that you make things so serious that you lose that fun, childlike perception of the world. And it really is, it should be fun. It shouldn't be so serious that you're stressing out over it and you've got a to-do list of, I need to check this particular thing every day. No, it's not supposed to be like that. It's great to have long-term goals and visions and dreams and manifestations in place, but there's also everyday stuff that will enable you to make progress along the way. So baby steps, and those baby steps lead into bigger things.
Thank you for saying this. Baby steps. This is, I think, the secret and the key. You can't have it all. You can't have all the answers at once, like our human nature would like to. There's no perfection 100%. You learn as you advance in your journey. And I love the child fun. My baby girl is definitely going to be a role model for me to just keep my energy up and running and alive. And Mark, before we go a bit deeper into our talk, maybe you can help Ruby with an advice. She says that I do not understand why often reading people makes me really upset. Sometimes it becomes difficult to function because the amount of their energy I can feel in my body. Wow, this is a pretty
Yeah.
serious thing. What do you think, Mark?
Well, I think there are definitely people on this earth who are empathic, and from Ruby's comments, it makes me think that she is some kind of an empath that has a skill that not everybody has. Her level of reading people's energy is maybe 2 or 3 times that of other people. And yes, it can be upsetting because you can potentially read things in people that other people can't see. So I think it's a gift, and I think it needs to be not monitored, but it needs to be cautiously practiced. I don't see any way around that. And if you get too serious with it, you're going to cut yourself off from many situations that maybe you shouldn't. It's good to have that gut feel and that intuition, and you can read that aura. And maybe down the road, a few steps, people will either prove or disprove themselves. And that's always a good way to look at it. I'm reading this aura. I don't feel really good. I'm going to move forward a little bit further, and they will either prove themselves or they will disprove themselves. So maybe that person had a bad day. Maybe that person just got out of a fight with somebody and there's a lot of negative energy charged up in them. Maybe they're going through things that you can't see or understand. And maybe they deserve, just a slight chance. I'm not saying that all those empathic feelings are invalid. They're probably very valid, but the reasoning behind those feelings is what needs to be looked at. So.
Thank you for saying this. Beautifully worded, Mark. Definitely. I hope I did not lose you. I think we lost a bit your connection for a few seconds, but you're here.
No,
You
I'm
are
here.
here. Wonderful. We have the Scorpion Kinder saying, tell the best affirmation, please, and discuss about affirmations. We have someone that's very curious about this side of the law of attraction. Mark, what is your insight on using affirmations?
I think affirmations are good. And I think if they lead to some really good manifestations, they're fine. So, for example, if you're going to set a manifestation of playing the piano, I want to play the piano. I want to be a fairly decent piano player by December this year. And you can begin each day with an affirmation of, I'm open to learning new things. My sound skills are really good. I know the chords, and I practice the chords every day. Those kind of affirmations are fine if you set your manifestation and they're supporting your manifestation. So I think they're good, and they have a very valid place. If you're going to make affirmations just like, I'm energetic, I feel good, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and there's really nothing behind it other than those feelings, I think it helps to have an overarching goal behind those affirmations, because that just cements it further in your mind. That's my opinion of it.
Wow, love this. This is some great food for thought for me as well. And oh my God, Mark, look at what Ruby just said. So nice. It's great to have such supporting friends. Throughout my life of 27 years, this is the first time someone has answered this to me. Thank you so much, Mark. And yes, I have been avoiding shaking hands or looking straight in the eyes. What a great comment.
That's a very thoughtful comment. I appreciate that, Ruby. So Ruby has a gift. Ruby has something that not all of us have. I think I have it somewhat, but not to the degree that Ruby does. Ruby is a special person who's got a special gift. And, with that special gift comes responsibility.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, Ruby, I can't wait to know more about you. We definitely need to have a talk later on for sure. Mark has put me in contact with the most amazing people, and I'm so grateful, very grateful for this as well, Mark, because nothing is by coincidence. Nothing happens just like that, right?
There's nothing random in this universe. And I have the perfect story for that. I think I've introduced you to Jing-hee.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And of course, you know Joyanne Chan. And Joyanne received an award in March, a leadership award in Dubai. And Joyanne got a hold of me and said, Mark, do you know of anybody in Dubai who might want to attend the award ceremony with me, to be there with me, and possibly attend the event? And I'm thinking, okay, I've got 8,200 connections on LinkedIn. There's only one connection in Dubai. And I'm like, it's Jing-hee. Jing-hee'd be perfect. And when I thought of that, I'm like, oh, she's going to do it. She's going, no problem. Got a hold of Jing-hee. Jing, can you possibly attend this event with Joyanne? She's receiving an award. Let me know what you think. Like 2-3 minutes later, she's like, I would love to do that. That is so great. And I just sort of sat there with my mouth open, and I'm like, what are the odds of that kind of a thing happening?
Wow.
So she attended the award with Joyanne. They're good friends. She was on Joyanne's podcast. So yes, there's nothing random in this universe. That's synchronicity. That was meant to be. It was meant to happen, and it happened. A lot of things sometimes are meant to happen, and it's just sort of like, well, kind of fell apart. This couldn't do this. This couldn't do that. But that's one case where it did happen. Perfect timing,
Wow.
perfect synchronicity, perfect end result, and it's very rewarding and it's rare.
After my talk with this amazing lady, I felt so much peace, acceptance, and love. She'll be on my podcast in September, and I'm so privileged to learn from her so much. Her aura is just amazing. I'm so glad for Joyanne. Oh my God, that she had such a beautiful soul next to her on such an important moment in her life. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
as you said, it could not have been better.
What are the odds? The odds were 8,120 to 1. Those are not great odds. So anyway, that's a perfect example of synchronicity.
Yeah.
Repeating numbers, repeating phrases, perfect timing, perfect results, perfect things that happen in your life. Unfortunately, you can't see those moving forward. The only way you're going to see those is when you do a gratitude list, like I did, and you're able to look backwards and connect the dots. And you're going to be like, I'm grateful for this. Well, how the heck did that ever happen? Why did that happen at that time in my life? Yes, you're grateful for it, but then you start connecting the dots and you go, wow, there was a lot going on that was unexplained up until I showed some gratitude for it. So, that's not my saying, by the way. That's Steve Jobs said that. You can't predict the future. You can only look back and connect the dots. And I think Steve said that in one of his commencement addresses as well. So that's a perfect saying for that. Connecting the dots and looking backwards gives you lots of answers. Most people don't have a gratitude list, so they're not looking backward. They're not connecting the dots. They're not getting insights just based on things that they're already grateful for and things that have happened to them. So that's why I think the gratitude list part of law of attraction is beautiful. That's a perfect way to get started.
Wow, I'm going to ask you about gratitude in a minute. Now, before we get to talk more about your amazing course, Mark, that I want everyone to get their hands on because this is a magnificent piece of content, writing, creation, manifestation, a piece of magic that they can have into their own hands. I want everyone that is watching us, and even Ruby, oh my God, Ruby, you are so kind for engaging with us. Thank you for being here with us. It's no wonder because since Mark is such a wonderful person, no wonder he attracts the best of the best people here with us. Mark has a surprise for you at the
Yeah,
end of the talk.
there's
So,
a couple. There's a couple surprises.
okay, a couple of surprises. Okay, okay, Mark, you are full of surprises, and you are indeed very giving, very generous. So let's talk about your course more because I am really blown away. As you simplify everything, in my mind, it has all boiled down to let it go. There are many other questions. However, I want to ask you first, how did your course come about and why did you create it? What is your reason behind it all?
The reason why I created it was to make it easier for people like me who didn't know a lot about it, that didn't have a roadmap, that didn't want to spend a fortune on books and videos and seminars. I mean, there's a lot you can do with this, and there are many, many people who teach this. And in my mind, it's overcomplicated. It needs to be simple, and it needs to be something people can do. Because if it's not simple, people will lose interest. They will not complete it. They won't read it to the end, and they won't do the exercises, excuse me. So I wanted to make it simple. That's why I did it the way I did it. And it's constantly changing. That the course is going to be a little bit different, maybe in a few months from now. And it also led to another course on manifestation. And to keep that as simple as possible, to give people some real world advice and hints and practices they can put into place. So that's why I created the course. Had it not been for Chip's video with Jim Carrey, I would have, who knows, I probably would have not gone down this path. So.
Wow. And I'm really sorry for Chip. I hope they at least found him, or did you hear anything about him?
I tried. The account was closed soon after that, and I just had what I went to go on, and that's okay. And this is another thing. It's reminiscing about someone in the past is great, but you need to celebrate them while they're here, not in the past. Like, you don't need to go to the cemetery and cry your eyes out. You should be going to the people who are with you right now and giving thanks and doing all the things you want to do right now. Because when you go to the cemetery, yes, you want to worship and honor them, but you're not going to have the same bond that you would have had in real life. So deal with the living. Honor and respect people who have passed on. But you need to focus on what's here and now, and more than anything else.
What a great and wise advice. Thank you for saying this. Romania has such an interesting culture when it comes to death and people dying and a lot of grief. However, you are so right. Grief and regret just come from them not being fully involved in that person's life when they were alive, right?
Yeah. So celebrate the living, honor those who have passed, but focus on honoring the living, because that's here right now. That's easy to do. You can do that easily.
Definitely. There's always a solution if you want to do something. If you don't really want to do something, you can find a million excuses.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
Thank you for saying this, Mark. Since your role is to simplify the law of attraction, and I have to give you all the credit for this, you have succeeded as far as I'm concerned. Wow, this is one of the best courses that I have had the privilege to look through. Mission accomplished here, Mark.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned gratitude, synchronicity, and manifestation quite a lot in your reels and posts on Instagram, which I really like so much, especially the music. It's really calming me. If I have many things to do, I'm just going there and enjoying the soothing sound. How is that related? What is the connection between these three very important elements in the law of attraction? In the law of attraction, synchronicity, gratitude, and manifestation.
See, I think people are doing manifestation every day. They just don't realize it. They're maybe 80% there. They need to add the 20% in that's not there today. So gratitude, I think you need to do gratitude every day in your life, and that's going to lead to the opening up those doors that are possibly maybe a little bit open, but not all the way open. And gratitude is very easy to do in your normal everyday life. Buying someone a meal, opening the door for somebody, asking them questions. And you know from the course that there's a guy that I wanted to meet for years, and I finally wound up meeting him and got pretty much his whole story. And that involved nothing. I didn't spend a dime. All I did was sit down and talk with him. So gratitude can be expressed in many different ways. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. And it's all going to start with your list. It's all going to start with your gratitude list. And once that list is there and you've got the beginnings of that, then you're going to start to notice things that you've never noticed before. Like, I go back to that thought of playing the piano. I want to play the piano by December 31st. So you go to the grocery store, there's a bulletin board there, and there's a piece of paper that says, piano teacher will teach lessons. And you're like, I never saw that before. Why didn't I see that? Well, you didn't have any kind of a goal or manifestation set to learn how to play the piano. So that door was closed. Now the door's open. Now you're going to see all kinds of things. You're driving down the road, you see a piano truck delivering a piano. You're like, gosh, I wish that was going to my house. Yes. The doors start to open when you start taking those steps. So I think the more I go down the law of attraction path, the more I think gratitude and synchronicity all have a role to play. It's not just one. They're not mutually exclusive. They're kind of all intertwined together. So, yeah.
It makes so much sense. It literally makes all the sense. And since you mentioned the gratitude list, can you please tell us how to start doing one, how to start creating one? What's your best take for someone that's maybe at the beginning of their journey with gratitude?
Yeah, that's when I started the course, I went to a local coffee shop every morning for 2 weeks before I went to work. I went there like at 7 o'clock, and I would sit down with a pad and I would just write stuff down. And for the gratitude part, I just started going. I went back to college and started coming forward, right? So I'll give you an example of some of the things I wrote down. It's right here. Okay.
Okay.
I wanted my parents to move to California, and it happened, and I'm grateful. I wanted a business, and it happened in a most unusual way, and I'm grateful. I wanted to become an officer in a business fraternity, and it happened in a most unusual way, and I'm grateful. I got connected and received so many friendships from all over the world. I'm grateful for those. I wanted to start writing my gratitude list at Bodhi Leaf Coffee. And here I am. I'm grateful, right? It's like the most basic stuff. Those are all, I wanted to have some dogs in my life that are now all in heaven. But I wanted to have some dogs. I met the right people, and I adopted a bunch of dogs over the last many, many years. And I'm grateful for that. So you start with the things in your life, and you make a list. And the list goes on for pages, right? And when you start looking back over those, it paints a picture of who you are, what you're grateful for, and possibly what's going to be happening in the future. So that gratitude list is where it all starts. For me, that's where it started.
It doesn't need to be something major, nothing
No.
too complex. Sometimes, Mark, when I get up maybe a bit tired, not sleeping too well, my baby girl has been having parties all night, young children, it's not something that you can always control. Sometimes I'm just grateful for being alive, for breathing, for seeing with my eyes, for feeling my body on that bed. And you can start with the most simple things out there.
And for you, it's like, I'm grateful for my daughter. I'm grateful that she's healthy. I'm grateful that we go to the park and have a great time. I'm grateful for all the silly things that she says and does. Your list, everyone's list is going to be different based on where they are in their life. And it's okay to go backwards a little ways, and it's okay to do everything today because there's lots to be grateful for. And only when you do that will you be able to appreciate what's coming in the future. You'll unlock those doors, and that'll lead to somewhere else. You don't start with, I want $1 million house, I want a new Porsche, I want fancy jewelry. Of course, those things are nice, but that's not the genesis. That's not where it begins. It's like, I just want to have a nice business and make a decent living and take care of my family and be happy and healthy. And some of the most simple things are some of the most tough to achieve. I mean, and you know firsthand they're tough to achieve. So you have to start there. The other stuff will come.
Yeah, definitely. The first step may be a bit trickier at first. It's something new. You may be unsure if how it works, but once you get starting, you get the universe working and rolling things in a way that you
Yeah.
would not have expected. Like, oh my gosh, I have this great example from you, how you have manifested such an interesting personality in your life with the watch repair
Joshua. Yeah.
maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's many more things like that. I could go on for hours with things that have happened over the past year. But the key is to not not obsess over how it's going to happen, but you have to keep your mind open so that when there's a crack in the door, you've got to push the door open and walk through, right? Just keep your mind open and things will happen. The doors have to be open. And if the doors aren't open, things are not going to happen for you.
Take the chance.
Yeah.
Definitely. I love this. Thank you for saying this. And even Ruby commented, when you move forward, the universe slowly opens the door for you. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
it's like the universe cannot be doubting, cannot be pushing anything aside. It's just there where the energy is, where action is. It keeps on bringing you more and more of what you pour. It's exactly
And
what
the
you
great the
do.
great comment on the universe is it has no favorite children. Everyone is a favorite child to the universe,
Yeah.
right? You just
But
have to tap into it.
yeah. And do you believe you are worth it? Do you believe that you are the one that the universe needs to pour into every single day with all of the wealth, the health, and the abundance out there? This is
Right.
interesting, Mark. What do you think about self-esteem and law of attraction? How do we overcome that human nature, that doubting human nature, so that we can fully embrace all of the riches that the universe has for us?
So self-esteem plays an important part. And I think when you go through a course like this or any type of meditations and things to enable yourself to go to a different higher level, you're going to be building in the process, you're going to be building your self-esteem. That's going to be part of the process. It might not be out front, but in the back, you're going to feel it. And if you don't have the self-esteem, then possibly they need to talk to someone like you, right? If you're fearful and you don't have the self-esteem, and it has nothing to do with talking to large groups, or it just has to do with, are you worthy enough? And are you worthy enough to start? And my answer is yes, everyone's worthy enough to start, right? And it doesn't, and you and I have talked about this before, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be perfect enough, right? It's like you can start that journey and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be perfect enough. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
And it just reminds me, we can't tell people to go with the flow. What do you think about this go with the flow advice?
It all depends on each person. Like if doors are constantly shutting in your face, like say for example, you're trying to get a job and you've been on many different interviews and nothing has worked out and you feel as though you're qualified for all those positions. Then what you need to do is just examine what you're going for. And you need to say, I need to find this type of a job in this type of an industry by this date. I'm going to be grateful for it, and I'm not going to obsess over it, and I'm not going to take the rejection personally. I am just going to learn from each interview or each situation, and I'm going to be happy with that. Once that happens, then I think going with the flow, no one likes to go with the flow like that. But you can adjust that going with the flow to work to your benefit. That's what I think.
Wow, I love this. What a different perspective. I have not thought of things in this light. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mark. And yeah, I'm writing things down here, up, down, everywhere I can, just to
Well,
make sure that.
remember the basic law, like attracts like, energy attracts energy. Maybe the person that interviewed you just had a fight with their spouse. Maybe their child is sick and they're going to interview 20 people and they're not going to like any of them. So it's not always you. Sometimes it's the other person or it's the situation. That's why you never give up. You just keep moving forward.
Yeah,
It's just like, oh, Mark, that's not going to work. There was a movie. There's the book, The Secret. That doesn't work. That's old news. What are you wasting your time for? It's like, well, it didn't work for you, but maybe it's going to work for me, and maybe it can work for other people. So,
yeah.
good.
Depends how open you are and how
Yeah,
interested you are in testing out new things. And I know I had a big fear a few years ago of trying anything that was new. This fear of the unknown, Mark, sometimes is so excruciating that you feel like if I would tell you, Mark, you need to go and lift your truck up with one hand, right? You would say, Roxana, this is nonsense. What's this foolishness? I can't. However, if you are solution oriented, and I'm referring this to anyone who really wants to see one problem and 10 solutions instead of the other way around, you can have 50 more people. Hey guys, come on, help me lift the truck. Because I didn't say that you need to be the only one lifting the truck.
right.
There's always something, a small crack, as you said earlier. Find the crack in the door and take it.
Yeah.
We have here Ruby saying something that I think that you can help her with, Mark. And we also have bodybuilder. So nice. You are so nice, bodybuilder, for joining us and for also giving this great advice to Ruby. Ruby says, I'm fearful of people and their judgments about me. Although I know I can control them, working on what Mark said. And bodybuilder says, Ruby, don't let anyone judgment bother you. We live our lives for God, our families, and ourselves. What a great advice. What do you think about this, Mark?
Yeah, judgment is bad. You never want to be in judgment of another person. And when they're in judgment of you, that's their mirror. They're reflecting what their thoughts are. It's not you. They're reflecting their judgment back on themselves, right? So it's like if I think you're not pretty enough, it's me maybe thinking I'm not handsome enough, so you're not pretty enough too. It's a mirror. It's a two-way mirror. So judgment often is a mirrored kind of effect, in my opinion. And you have to
Yeah.
just ignore that judgment, especially when it's negative. Um, and that's where your self-confidence and self-esteem comes in. You can say to yourself, I know that's not true. I know that's not true. You had a bad day,
Definitely.
or you're not feeling the way you want to feel about yourself, and you just sort of throw it out there on me and other people. And so judgment is a dangerous two-edged sword, in my opinion.
It's a really good advice, Mark. And this reminds me, whose voice are we listening to? Are we going to let the exterior voices cover up our own voices, what's in our heart, what's in our soul, what's in our mind? I think that at times you just need to do this to just
Yeah,
cover your ears. Listen to yourself more. These
yeah,
people come and go. If someone said something negative about you, Ruby, be mindful that they are having a bad day, as Mark said. People have sometimes so much negativity, right, Mark, that they just pour into other people's innocent auras and energies,
right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, if they can't feel positive, you should feel negative with them. And that's not a good solution. That's no way to live your life. Better that you
Exactly.
be positive by yourself than to be around all that negativity with other people. That's just my opinion. Life is too
Exactly.
short to be so negative and so judgmental.
Oh, yes. I love this. Life is indeed too short. It's like a blink of an eye, it's 5 years. I'm 36 this year. When did it happen? Because I feel like I'm 17. What happened, Mark? Where did the years go by? Thank you for
Right.
saying this. A great reminder to just live fully every single moment. Don't wait. Don't postpone.
Yeah.
Don't try. Ruby, you said here something that as a friend, because I think that we are now friends since we have Mark as a great friend in common. You said, I try not to. I know I'll get there one day. My dear Ruby, when you say try, unfortunately, you don't go until the end with the action that you start. Mark maybe has something to add here as well. Avoid using the word try. It's like, I want to get this pen off of my hand. I'm trying to get it, but I'm just trying. It's not like you take it. I got it. I took it. What do you think, Mark, with trying to do
I think
things?
trying to do things, it sounds good, but it often doesn't work because you can try forever and get no results. I think the better thing to say is, I am taking this person and I'm gonna take their advice and I'm not gonna heed it because it's not me. It's not valid. It's not a valid advice. There's no
Wow.
trying there. There's just action. It's just like, you know what? This is it. It's not true. It's over. We
Wow.
all have those people. We all meet those people, no matter where you are, what country you're in, what stage of life you're in, those people are existing all over the place. And it's better to possibly burn some bridges in that area than to keep on trying, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because you may end up in a loop that's never, never,
Yeah.
ever ending. I love this so
Yeah.
much. Please go on. Please go on.
No, I was going to say there's a couple things. There's circular thinking and spiral thinking. Circular thinking is, I tried it, it didn't work, I quit. That's it. I'm done. Spiral thinking is, I tried this, it didn't work. I'm going to change this and I'm going to do it again and I'm going to see if I get different results. And you keep that spiral going until you get your result. So don't be a closed loop circular thinker. You got to be a spiral thinker to make adjustments all the way along the way. So
Wow, thank you for this is the first time I'm hearing this and I love it. Thank you so much for
I
saying.
learned that one from Katara Sky.
Okay, okay. Now I see it. Now I see it. Oh my God. I
Yeah,
did have her on my podcast, by the way. Thank you. I am grateful for you introducing me to her because this woman is gold. What a different, what an unusual, in the very best positive way, personality. So
yeah,
much to absorb from her. Wow.
yeah. So spiral thinking is where it's at. Just keep yourself open, keep adjusting, keep moving forward. Don't be a closed loop. Keep it open.
And we have here an interesting advice from bodybuilder regarding what Ruby said earlier. The best revenge is being happy and killing your goals. I used to get a lot of hate when I was starting to lose weight and get in shape. Now I'm 47 and better off than all my haters. I think it's great, bodybuilder, that you got to lift yourself up. However, I'm curious to see what does Mark say about the words that you used in describing your journey. You used the
Um,
word revenge, killing, haters.
yeah, people who see you achieving your goals, sometimes that's the worst nightmare for them, right? You're doing all the things that they wish they could do, but they just don't have the power, the energy, the willpower to get it done. So I think it's unconscious on their part that they don't like it. And the reason they don't like it is they can't manifest it. They can't achieve it. So why should you achieve it? Why should you be the one to be happy? And they are not the one achieving the results and being happy. So when you frame it that way, everything becomes very clear. Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you exactly how I did it if you want to know, or we'll go to the gym together and work out and I'll show you. But you can't have it both ways. You can't be, you can't be um, not sad for someone, but you can't wish the worst on somebody and not want to do it yourself. Raining on someone's parade. Why are they raining on someone's parade? They should put the sunshine on their own parade. They don't need to rain on anybody's parade, right? So,
Wow, yeah, definitely. I'm loving
and
this.
there's no greater topic than weight. No greater topic than weight for those comments, right? Who doesn't want to lose an additional 10 pounds? Who doesn't want to be healthier? Who doesn't want to look better? Who doesn't want to be in better shape? And for someone that's doing it, the opposite reaction of someone watching is, oh, that's no good. You're never going to get there. I don't like that. You know, I'm not going to drink any protein powder. I'm not for me. And it's like, well, you know, it's working.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you don't work, nothing's going to change. And by the way, what a great comment, Mark. I'm just coming from the gym. Half an hour before we started, I quickly rushed back home, had a shower, and came here to have this wonderful chat with you because I feel that if our mind is not fully aligned, if our mind is not fully worked out, equipped with the most positive feelings and oxygen, you cannot be having success in anything unless your mind and body are completely aligned and healthy and energized by the movement. I think that you cannot do too much. What do you think, Mark?
No, I don't think you can do too much in that area. Unless you're running yourself into the ground and you're fatigued and tired and you can't fulfill your responsibilities at home. And yeah, there's a natural give and take to those kind of situations. But I agree. I think exercise and being active and doing all those kinds of things is really, really good. So yeah.
Definitely. And bodybuilder is such an inspiration, Mark. I'm not sure if bodybuilder is still here with us now, but his journey was I met him through a live IG with some common friends, and the way that he transformed his mindset before transforming his body, because this is where it all happens actually.
Yeah.
Going at the gym, doing all sorts of exercises, it's not easy. I know I had a struggle today. It was tough for me at the gym today. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not, but I push through it. But I know that bodybuilder has had quite an amazing journey. So bodybuilder, we are going to talk about this more. Definitely, we're going to have our own episode soon because it's very inspiring. Ruby says, Mark, what they judge is the judgment they have of themselves.
Yeah, excellent, excellent point. They're only reflecting what's inside of them. That's all. It's as simple as that. Don't take it personal.
Oh, I love this. Don't take it personally because it never is. It never is. We only see what we have inside of us. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying this. And it's again the law of reciprocity of what you said at the beginning of our talk. When you put things out there, if they're positive, guess what you get back? Positive. If you put negative, it's what you focus on. Thank
Yep.
you for saying this, Mark. Oh my God, we still have quite a bit to talk about. Please let me know if you're comfortable with being with us online live
Sure.
for a few more minutes, like 15 minutes.
Sure. That's fine. I have plenty of time.
Wonderful, because this is priceless, valuable information, Mark, on the law of attraction, on something that I believe is vital for anyone, literally anyone that is alive, kicking and breathing, that learn how to manifest whatever they want to in their lives. We have Ruby saying that makes sense. Roxana, I should rephrase it as I will get it out of my system and not let their negativity be entertained. I believe that you still have some negative wording there. What do you think, Mark?
Um, Ruby, first of all, Ruby's very talented. I don't know if you've seen her Instagram account, but she's very,
Not
very
yet.
talented.
Not yet. I can't wait.
Yeah, so I would say she is the ultimate embodiment of positivity. So she needs to just shift to that positivity, and she's going to find she's not even going to notice the judgment. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. This is
Embrace your strengths.
powerful.
Yeah, embrace your strengths.
Wow. Okay. I need to write this down as well, Mark. I mean, you said something really powerful. Embrace your strengths. This is like the sum of everything we talked about so far. This is so powerful.
It's like
It,
giving yourself a big hug, right? Give yourself the big hug. Don't concentrate on something else. Hug, give yourself the big hug because you're the most powerful, person in the room. So,
wow. This is amazing advice, Mark. You really are a treasure, and we appreciate you. And oh my God, look at Ruby. Ruby is really excited and so grateful. And continuing with our amazing talk, Mark, can you please tell us what are pitfalls?
well, the biggest pitfall is that you're going to try to manifest something really big, and you're going to be disappointed, and you're going to feel that it won't work, and you're going to stop the journey. That's the biggest pitfall, right? That's the biggest pitfall. So my advice is start small and gradually get bigger with things that you want, and um, go for the obvious. Go for the obvious. Don't go for the things that are very not obvious, right?
Yeah. Work with what you have, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Love it. Love it so much. And how hard would you say, Mark, it is to really experience the law of attraction in someone's life, and why?
I think it's very easy. First of all, you have to believe. You can't be a naysayer and think that great things are going to happen. You can't say, I really don't buy into that, but I'm going to give it a try. No, you either believe that it's going to work or it doesn't. And there's kind of no middle ground there. If you buy into it and you follow the steps and you really, give it all you've got, you're going to get results. That's my personal opinion. And it's based on what happened to me. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't have gone to a coffee shop for 2 weeks in a row and wrote all this stuff down. I believed it, and I went and did it, right? So there was no middle ground. There was no, it might, it could, it should. No, it was like, this is it. I'm doing this.
Wow, I love it. And you did mention a few minutes ago that there are so many more stories that you can tell us. Please share with us your best stories if you want to, two or
I'm going to give
three.
you one. I'm going to give you one that you won't believe. So I went to a store here in the United States called Costco. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
Costco. So I was looking for a new pair of shoes, went to the shoe section, found the exact pair of shoes that I wanted, nothing in my size, nothing. So every size, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. And I'm like, no, there's no size 12. That is really weird. And I just started walking around the shoe department and I said, universe, this is not acceptable. And I was having fun with it, right? It's like, this is not acceptable. And I know you can do better. And I'm going to be really grateful if I could get a pair of these shoes in my size. I said it. I forgot it. I went on my business. 2 weeks later, I go back in the store. There's a lady running towards me, and I've got a cart, and I've got a drink in my hand, and she just like crashes into me. And I got, Diet Coke everywhere. And she's sorry and whatever. And she continued on running towards the front of the store. I don't know what was going on. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to find some toweling paper to clean myself off. And I'm like, I'm in this aisle that's got like frying pans and toasters, and I'm like, I wonder if there's toweling paper around here. And there's a lady standing next to me, and I heard someone say, over here. And I looked at that lady and I said, did you hear that? And she goes, no, I didn't hear anything. And I said, okay. So I kept going in that direction. I get to the end of the aisle. I look to my right, and there's a frying pan sitting there with a roll of toweling paper. I'm like, how in the world could this possibly? There's no reason a roll of toweling paper would be sitting here. Took the toweling paper, got cleaned off, put it in my basket, and I look forward, and there's the shoes again. And I said, okay, now we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's go look. So I go, walk over to the shoes, and I turn and I look, and there's a wall of shoes. There had to be 120 boxes of shoes. They're all my size. Every single one, size 12.
Wow.
Every one. The stock guy is there, and I went over to him and I said, come here, I got to ask you a question. I said, what do you think's going on here? He looked at that wall of shoes and he said, it's kind of strange. I'd have to talk to Jose, who stocked that last night. He goes, it is pretty weird. And I said, have you ever seen anything like that in your entire life? He goes, no, I've been here 15 years. I've never seen anything like that. So there you go. You set the manifestation, you forget it, you go about your business, lady runs into you, you clean up, you see the shoes. Had all that not happened, I probably wouldn't have ever gone down that aisle.
Wow. I
So
mean, yeah.
How can all that randomness is masquerading as synchronicity? There's no randomness. That was supposed to happen for whatever reason. I don't know the reason. I just know that it happened.
Good question. Did you buy the shoes?
Yes. I not only bought one pair, I bought two pairs because I thought to myself, if I come back tomorrow, there's going to be no shoes at all, right? So that was one of the interesting stories while I was developing the course. I was just like, this can't happen in real life. There's no way that could possibly happen.
Right.
And yet it happened. So, yeah, things happen.
And you're an amazing storyteller. Oh my God, Mark, I would keep you for another hour, but I know you kind of have to go.
And we need to talk about the surprises for your listeners.
Yeah,
okay.
So before we talk about that, definitely we still have quite some minutes. So Mark, please surprises. I can see you're full
Okay,
of surprises, so please share with us. What have
I
you
know.
sort
I
of
know that I'm pretty sure Ruby already has the course. So, but for your other listeners who don't have the course, if they go to the store and if they use the code Roxana, all capitals ROXANA, they'll get a 50% discount.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And that's the first surprise. The second surprise is there's a new course on manifestation. I'm not sure if I sent it to you or not. It's relatively new. For the next 60 days, if your listeners go to the store and they type in the word manifest, all capital, MANIFEST, all caps, they can get the course for free.
Oh my God. This is just unbelievable, Mark. I did not expect that our audience can have such great privilege, and I
Because I
admire
want them to try it.
you.
I want them to see that manifestation is not hard. It's easy. You just have to put your mind to it. And it's only 5 steps. And once you do that and start small, you'll experience results. So,
Wow. Wow. This is beautiful and beyond expectations, Mark. You are the kindest and the most generous, and I'm sure that everyone will want to get their hands on these amazing gifts. I'm going to add the links. I'm going to have all the instructions written out so
sure.
that everyone can see them everywhere on social media. So our fearless friends, go to Mark's store. You are going to find the link in the description of this live session. Use the code Roxana to get a 50% discount for the Law of Attraction and Manifestation course, which is something that you are just going to love. It's making your dreams come true, simplified. Mark has this amazing talent to get things from your head, from our head, which we tend to overcomplicate. It's the human nature, it's normal. Things like this happen all the time when we just think it's too easy. It's not going to happen, right, Mark? We just say it's
It's,
nah.
or,
Things
or,
are
or they
going
think it's too hard. It's not
yeah.
not too hard at all.
Exactly. And there's another amazing gift. If you type in manifest, it's all capitals, Roxana all capitals, manifest all capitals, and get the second gift for free. Wow, for 60
It's a
days.
separate course. It's a separate course on manifestation. And
Wow.
the law of attraction course is mostly on law of attraction and gratitude. So,
And I did not know about these amazing gifts. Mark, thank you so much. It has been a real honor and a privilege. We need to do this again. We need to have Ruby with us again because she has been amazing, so engaging. Ruby, you are such an amazing friend, such a great supporter with the best questions. And no wonder you and Mark are connected since you have such a great vibe about you. That's for sure. Nothing is by coincidence. Like
you
Mark
know,
just got 2 pairs of his favorite shoes, size 12. This is a story, Mark, that I'm going to remember. You need to put these on social media. You need to, just my idea now, so that people can truly understand what power our thoughts really have.
yeah. That story is buried inside the course somewhere. It's in one of the later chapters, I think. But there's many other stories that I've got that you just they're hard to believe. There's no way it could be random. It's randomness masquerading as synchronicity. That's basically what it is. You got to connect
Wow,
the dots. Yeah.
wow. I
So thanks for
cannot.
spending all this time. I appreciate your time, spending all the time, and it was a lot of fun.
This has been time well invested. Well invested, and I'm grateful to have had your amazing guidance and wisdom with us today, Mark. I look forward to continuing our talk. Hopefully, you're going to join my Stories About Fear podcast in around a month or two. We'll see how your schedule fits with
Sure.
everything because you have such a beautiful mission. Your amazing work is just mind-blowing, and I cannot wait to see the magnificent things that you are going to create from now on, Mark. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thank you
being
very
with
much.
me.
Thank you very much to Ruby and all the guests. Look forward to talking to you on your podcast one of these days. So
I cannot wait. We appreciate you and everyone, our fearless friends. Once again, you are going to find Mark's amazing course in the link in the description. You have a 50% discount plus another free course on manifestation. I mean, if this is not the most generous, I don't know what it is. Thank you to everyone watching us, to everyone commenting. Ruby, you are our star. You are such an amazing friend and supporter. And I'm going to see you soon, Mark, at the American Business Connect. I'll be attending very soon. So I
okay.
hope you have an amazing day ahead. Thank you
Okay.
so
Thank
much.
you. Okay. Talk to you later.
Talk to you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Mark. Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching.